Hey, how to deal with flaky tests in Ruby. Arthur and I will show you my tips how to fight with flaky tests. But what is actually the flaky test? It's a test that sometimes passes and sometimes not, without the changes to the test itself. There are a few examples when this scenario can happen. For instance, you may have feature tests with Capybara that clicks through your website, and sometimes you may notice that the capybara fails to click on the button, or I don't know, cannot select the drop down and so on. So another thing that can cause the flaky test could be order dependent. For instance, one test depends on another, and if you run them in different order, your test may fail. Or maybe your tests are somehow related to the time. So for instance, they are passing most of the time, but at specific hours during the day they are not succeeding. So this is really annoying, and in perfect world we don't want to have the flaky test. We want to just make sure that your tests are always passing, right? And I will show you the example of the flaky test in Ruby. So I have just very simple kind of stupid test that will just generate a random number between 0 to 100, and then we just want to make sure that the number is just below the 90. And as you may see, this test will most of the time pass, but sometimes will not. So let's try to run this test. And yeah, it's passing, right? But let's say you are working on your test in development and you would like to reproduce the case when the test is failing. So I'm using this small trick using the bash, and I'm using this bash inline script. So basically in the loop I'm just running the test file. As long as it's passing, that the test will be just repeated. And this way I will be running this test as long as we will encounter the problem and something will fail. So you may reuse this short script to just run your tests and spot the issue in your development environment. I will show you another thing that might be useful for you. Let's say when you are using RSpec test runner, you can provide the command order and specify, let's say, that you want all tests to run in random order, or maybe just in defined order. I recommend use order rand. This way RSpec will always shift and change the order of your tests during the run. This way on the daily basis you can make sure that your test suite is not there is no problems with order dependent tests. So this is a really useful thing to use this order rand flag. Another interesting thing is the flag only failures. Basically you will have to configure RSpec to specify the path where will be recorded list of recent failed tests for the last run of your test suite, and you will be able to use this list of tests files to just run your failed tests. And you'll be able to do this with just RSpec Only Failures flag. And if you are using Knapsack Pro, the tool I've built to split tests across multiple CI nodes in parallel, you can also use this flag. For instance, on your CI provider, you just run the Knapsack Pro tool to split your tests, and when one of your tests will fail, it will be recorded in this test file. In this file, and then you can just run all failed tests. But there is a better way. There is a gem called RSpec Retry that will retry your tests for a few times when they fail. So for instance, you can configure the gem to just retry the feature tests and retry them, let's say, for the 3 times. And this is really useful because, as we know, most of the time the problems with flaky tests are related somehow to feature tests with Capybara. So if you cannot really fast and solve all the problems with your flaky test, this gem may help you to at least make sure that your CI builds are passing more often than fail. So this can be like middle solution for the time being before you make sure that your all tests are super stable and there is no flaky test. Cool thing is also that you can specify this retry flag per single test, so this is really nice as well. If you are using something else than RSpec, there is also gem for Minitest, so Minitest Retry, and it works in similar way, so you can configure how many times it should retry your tests. Yeah, so I think this is like a few tips I use to deal with flaky tests. I hope this will help. This will be helpful for you. If you would like to hear more about anything else related to testing, please leave the comment down below. And thank you for watching. I will put more links to those resources down below. So thank you and see you in the next video. Bye bye.